Hello. So, what is causing unwanted behavior in horses? What is causing any behavior in horses or any behavior in any of us? Okay, the short answer is any behavior is coming from a feeling. A feeling can be either an emotion or a sensation in the body, and that feeling is coming from a need. Okay, so I'm just going to start by sharing that screen, and it just shows exactly that. Um, right inside this circle, we got the need that leads to an emotional sensation. So if that need is met, that emotion, that feeling will feel like a positive, beautiful feeling that we enjoy. If that need is not met, we starting to feel those feelings we not enjoy. They're not negative because it's all just a way of communicating. Let's say I got a need for food. I'm feeling hungry. It's not a bad thing. It's my body's way of telling me what I need. I might show that in my body language. So that's the biggest circle. And the last one will be the behavior. If I'm not getting that food and I've been hungry for a while, I'll start getting grumpy, right? So that's the behavior. I have a need for fun. My need is met because I just been for the beautiful trail ride on my horse. And my emotion is I'm really happy and I'm content. I'm showing it in my body language. I'll be smiling. My behavior will be, I'll be nice to my family, which is nice, a good feeling. So this is how it looks for people, and it's pretty similar to horses. I'm using a little bit of the framework of nonviolent communication, and we see it's a practice that is designed for people. But when I started learning that a little bit with the intention of improving the relationships with people that are close to me, specifically my children, I realized how much of that work is related to horses, and I've actually been doing that kind of work with horses, which is just comes more naturally to me than with people, but it's actually the same kind of work, and I adopted that to fit, and I just love that framework that they give it, which you will look at later. Want to start when we normally the behavior is the thing that we see. It's hard to ignore, especially when the horse is doing things that we don't like, or not doing the things that we like. But that body language part is really, really important, because the more we understand the body language, the more we are able to prevent that unwanted behavior before it escalates to that it's out of control. So this is really what we're aiming at, just understanding the body language. So we know what the horse is feeling, and we know what needs are met and unmet, and they can communicate with us more clearly. They don't need to scream it. We listen to the whispers. So I want to look at body language as our next part. Horse body language, things to notice. We're looking at the head parts, ears, eyes, the position of the head, what they're doing with the head, where is the muzzle pointing, the nostrils, and the jaw. Yeah, so the jaw also including the licking and chewing movement, which obviously includes the tongue and the lips, but I included that in that part, and yawning. Tight jaw. Do you know how to see when your horse has a tight jaw? It's not something that I was taught growing up in horses, working with many trainers. Nobody ever told me to look if my horse's jaw is tight, but I know now how important that is. I know how much that trouble that can save me later if I can notice that early. And notice this horse in the picture, my beautiful Fury. It's got a nice and loose jaw there, nice and soft eyes, nostrils narrow. She's in a good mood. So let's look at the rest of the body, including the neck, the voices. Horses don't make a lot of sounds, but when they do, it can tell us a lot. The legs, including soundness. Yeah, horse is not sound is obviously a big tail of pain involved. Tail is a big indicator for mood or pain as well. Breathing. This is really, really important as well. So when we talk about behavior, we often, especially unwanted behavior, we often imagining that extroverted horse that shows their behavior in a really outward way. So being bolting or, kicking or whatever they're doing, or just being really high alert. But there are also a lot of horses that are introverted and they're very shut down, and they are often mistaken for being calm and peaceful. And sometimes they'll be like, some behavior comes out of the blue, and you're like, where did that come from? With this shut down horse, sometimes the only thing you will notice when you learn how to is the breathing. The horse will look completely calm, but the jaw is tight, and the breathing will be fast and shallow. So this is not a horse that is truly calm and happy and content. If it's just standing quietly and his breathing or her breathing is fast and shallow and the jaw is tight, there is something that this horse is telling. So listen to your horse now before it's got or she has to scream it. So this is where the part that I highly recommend to print and have ready for you to use later on. This is a list of horses' feelings, and you get a list of feelings when the needs are met and feelings when the needs are not met. You feel free to add more feelings if you feel something is missing. And the same thing for the next slide, which is the needs. Again, you can add more to that, and I highly recommend print that, have it ready if you feel drawn to doing the kind of work that I will show you. I do want to talk about a couple of things in that list. One is safety. Now, notice that I put safety up there with food and water. And why did I do that? Safety is just as important. A horse that is in the natural environment, safety is the difference between life and death. Yeah, it's food and water. It's pretty obvious that we all need to survive, but it's completely useless if you get killed by a predator. And this is what the reality is for horses in the wild. We do have our horses mostly in a very safe environment in domesticated life, unless you live somewhere that has snakes or anything like that. Most our horses are mostly really safe, but they don't always know that, and this is the thing that we have to remember. So horses still have those very strong evolutionary instincts that tell them there is predators that can get them at any moment. So when our horses are scared, we know they're safe, and that we might think that they're overreacting, they're just trying to test us, they're being naughty. But for the horse in that moment, it's a matter of life and death. So I wanted to talk about that because safety is a very, very important need that comes up a lot with our interaction with horses. Anything as body comfort, if it's not clear exactly what it means, just not being in pain and not being itchy. Yeah, so feeling comfortable in your body. And also you might notice that there are some needs that seem to contradict each other, like variety and consistency, or ease and challenge. So every need, every horse will have specific needs that are stronger at, than other horses, or it might change over time, over the years, the age, and it might also change from day to day. So the key is to really get to know your horse, get to understand their needs, and also feel the moment, feel what's happening in the moment. So what are we going to do with it? So again, feel free to print it. Take this out with you to the fields, the paddock, the barn, wherever your horse is, and just start noticing things. Okay, so the context is very important, yeah, because it tells us about what the situation is. Write the body language that you notice. The more you look, the more subtle things you're going to notice, and the feeling that you think they was feeling. Now, this is where we start guessing. Obviously, you don't really know what they was feeling. We hardly know what we're feeling half of the time as humans, but just guess, because the fact that you're doing it, you're already opening the door to all sorts of possibilities and more understanding between you and your horse. And I'm sure your horse can feel that, okay, that you are asking questions rather than blaming them. And I'm sure if you are here, it's because you really care about your horse or about horses in general. You really want to do the right thing for them. You want to help them. So the first step is to just ask the question and yes, start guessing in regards to the feelings and the needs. So I said start with when everything's going well. Obviously, you can't, when things are not well, it's not that easy to pull out a pen and paper and start writing. It wouldn't be very smart. So just get out there, just watch the horse, your horses in the paddock, interacting with each other. That's a really good way of learning about them, or watch them interacting with other people. If I added with permission, yeah, you don't want to be awkward. But just watch, just notice and start writing it down. So I'm just going to give some examples of how it looks. And we're going to start with some nice easy ones, and things are going well. Horse is grazing with the head. So the horse is in a grazing position where it's always one foot is forward. The movement is slow, but it is a movement. Gentle snorting sometimes, if you know those sounds. Ears might move occasionally. Horses always have some level of alert, yeah. And soft eyes. What does it mean, soft eyes? It's something you learn to see over time, but let's just start by saying the eyes are not wide open. Okay, so maybe half shut, maybe a little bit shut, not wide open. And you just keep looking into your horse's eyes and you'll get to know them. The feelings, I'm guessing this horse is feeling calm, content and safe and comfortable, and the needs that are met: food, safety, health, space, movement, body comfort, companionship. I can probably add more to that list. Oh, this is my beautiful fairy in the window. Snorting, grazing away, just when I was talking about that. So let's look at another beautiful one. You're approaching your horse. And what you see, the horse has head mid-high, so yeah, not really high, but not raising. Is pointing towards the person. Maybe the horse starts moving towards the person. The muzzle is forward. Nostrils are not wide. The jaw is nice and loose, and maybe even the horse will make at you in a friendly way. So I'm guessing this horse is feeling curious, feeling involved, feeling happy. Needs that are met, need for trust, for connection, maybe stimulation. Again, those are all guesses. The more you know your horse, and the more you asking those questions, making those guesses, you'll get better at it. Let's look at some less exciting examples. So the horse is grazing, but this time we see the tail is swishing, some head shaking occasionally, and some stomping. So the horse is feeling irritated, probably itchy and restless. So the needs that are unmet is body comfort and ease. Yeah, so body comfort is really the big one here, especially if there's itchiness involved, insects and stuff like that. And we look at example with a human involved. So you're leading the horse away from the barn or the head. And Maybe some of you experienced it. The horse that is head high, the name, ears will be pointing towards the band, towards where they want to be, or they'll just be moving a lot. Nostrils are wide, they might even be blowing, the jaw is taut, fast breathing, fast moving, everything is fast, lots of movement. This is an extroverted kind of horse, by the way. So it shows a lot of those emotions. I'm guessing this horse is feeling scared and worried and helpless and tense. The body is tense. That's the body sensation. The needs that are unmet is a need for safety, for companionship, for choice, and for trust. Now, I want to add here, just because we're saying, oh, this horse is not meeting the need for companionship or not meeting the need for choice, it doesn't mean we need to just go rush and find a way to give them those needs. Yeah, it doesn't mean that we're not going to take them away from the barn because they have a need for companionship, or it doesn't mean we're going to let them do whatever they want because they have a need for choice. So just be aware of that. We are not looking at the solution here just yet. We're looking at identifying what is going on so we can work from there. That's important to understand. And let's look at one more, teaching new horse a new movement. So this time it's on the saddle. But the ears are pinned, the head shaking, the moving in the wrong direction, the tail swishing, the tight is jaw. Now, a lot of us might not notice that the jaw is tight or that the tail is switching. We'll probably just notice that the horse is not doing what we're asking them, and they're looking a little bit annoyed. And we might think that the horse is being naughty or whatever it is you've been told. My guess is when you're teaching a horse a new movement and this is the reaction, it's quite likely that the horse is feeling confused and frustrated. They really want to do what you ask them, but they just don't know what they're supposed to do. So the need that is unmet in this case, those needs are for clarity, for ease, and for harmony. Clarity is a really important one, especially for horse people that are trying to do things differently and are trying to be more kind with the horse. Sometimes it goes, we're just trying to be so nice, we're actually not clear about our expectations. So clarity is really, really important, especially when we're teaching new movements. But we also, we're always teaching something. Yeah, so this is also an important need. Identifying our horses and our own needs opens the door to much deeper understanding between horse and human and helps create a rewarding and meaningful bond. This is my beautiful daughter, by the way, with one of our old horses. We don't have them anymore. The reason I added it here is because it's not just about identifying our horses' feelings and needs, it's also about identifying our own ones. So if we're looking for a bond, we're looking for a relationship that are long-lasting. It's not just one way, there's two-way for that relationship. So we also have to identify our own feelings, our own needs. It may seem obvious, but you'll be surprised how much is hidden under the surface once you start looking. So the next slide is a list of human needs. I also highly recommend to print that one as well. This is, I took from the Center for Nonviolent Communication, which is that practice that is meant for humans. I mentioned it before, and I adopted it for horses. Okay, so look at that list. That will help you later on. And I would like to look at how that looks. Some of the scenarios we looked at before, how do they look when we look from our perspective. Yeah, so I'm approaching the horse. If you remember that scenario before, the horse was quite happy to see the person. So how does it feel for me when I come see a horse is coming happy to see me? First of all, my body language, I'm smiling, I'm relaxed, and my body posture is open and non-threatening. And I got my attention on the horse. So if you don't know what a body posture that is open and non-threatening looks like, I highly recommend that you start practicing that, because your horses can feel your energy, they can feel you, they can see your body language, and they really understand where you are. So it's, again, not something I was ever taught by my past trainers, but something that I definitely teach my students, because it's such a big part. We do learn about the position when we ride, trying to get to this perfect position, especially if you're into dressage, but you know, it's a position is taught with all disciplines. And I'm not saying it's not important, but what often happens is that we trying so hard to get to that right position, we're actually really tight in our body in the search for that position. And I have a confession to make. I've never reached that perfect position. But what I did learn is that the energy that I'm projecting is really, really important. And I'm not saying don't work on your position, but what you project in the energy is at least half the picture. So especially when you're doing groundwork. And if you're not doing groundwork, then please start doing groundwork. Back to that scenario, go and see my horse. The horse is happy to see me. I'm happy, I'm excited, and I have love for that horse. And I have needs that are met, my need for connection, my need for trust, and my need for fun. Isn't it fun going to the paddock and your horse is happy to see you? It's the best feeling ever. Let's look at a bit less fun scenario. So you're leading a horse away from the barn. If you remember, this horse was really scared and showing that in very big ways. How am I looking in this scenario? I might have my shoulders will be tense, my jaw is tight. Yeah, people also have a tight jaw, something to look at. And our hands, yeah, we keep our hands really tight, and we're not often aware of it. Might be moving fast, be telling the horse off with our voice. A lot of us do it. My feelings, probably feeling scared and frustrated and helpless and guilty. Feeling guilty. This is something that's very human, not so much horsey, because we want to know that we're doing the right thing for your horse, for my horse. And when things are not going well, you start feeling, am I the right person for him? Am I not doing, all those thoughts we have in our head? Those needs are not met. Need for safety, for trust, for connection, and integrity. Knowing that you're doing the right thing. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen here, and I'm just gonna sum it up what we talked about. So we talked about how every behavior, before the behavior, there is body language that shows us how the horse is feeling, which is either an emotion or a sensation in the body. And under those feelings, there is a need that is either met or is unmet. Yeah, so it's the same thing for us, and it's the same for horses. And our first step towards improving our relationship with the horses and everything that we do with our horses is start identifying those things in both the horses and in ourselves. So sometimes there would be enough, yeah, that you will start understanding your horse better, and some solutions will already come up. That's great. Sometimes we need more than that. We need more help, understanding, more help in reading that body language, more help trying to understand their needs. Maybe we get a few guesses, but we're not quite there yet. And I would like to share my offer to you around that. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again. Where am I? So I offer one-on-one coaching. I will help you identify your horse's feelings and needs in all sorts of scenarios. I will help you identify your own feelings and needs in those scenarios within the horsey context, but I promise you it helps in every aspect of your life. And then we can work out a way that we can meet everyone's needs. Yeah, so it's not something that can go into this webinar because each scenario is unique, each horse is unique, each person is unique, each combination. So it's about really understanding those individual needs. Teaching you how to understand horses' body language better so you can identify their feelings and needs at an earlier stage. So what's better than solving the behavior is preventing it, yeah? So just the more subtle the conversation is between you and your horse, the smoother things will go. Help you become aware of your own body language and what you communicate with the horse, because we always communicate with the horse. And if we're not aware of what we're communicating, then we sometimes creating a lot of problems for ourselves without even knowing. And improving overall communication between horse and human. So you will gain, and I say that because I've worked with a lot of students. So it's also my own gainings over the years, and also things that I taught students over the years of all ages. Deeper bond with your horse, better awareness of what your horse is communicating with you. Higher ability to communicate clearly with your horse, easier to get your horse to do the things you ask them to do, which is really the bottom line of why we're here. We love our horses, and we also have certain goals that we want to achieve and advance towards achieving your goals with your horse. So I'm not going to tell you you are going to achieve your goals in some kind of a short time frame, because it's not how things work. Things take time, they take practice, they take a lot of patience, especially if this horse already experienced things a certain way. It's going to take time to change it, but you got to start somewhere. Okay, so definitely I can promise you that you can start going that way towards your goals. And what is the offer? So I told you I did work with a lot of students, but my confession is that I am still new to the online world. You might have noticed that by now. I'm not super tech, but I feel like there is a lot I can give through that. So I'm offering 3 sessions to begin with. And because I'm new to this online world, I'm offering them for only $150. So it's only $50 per session. I don't want to do any less than 3 sessions because it's really hard to achieve much in one session. So there has to be some kind of a progression in between. Now notice those dollars are New Zealand dollars. So wherever you are in the world, it's probably less than what you're thinking. You'll have to look it up for your country. And this price is until the end of the year, okay, which is coming up really soon, I know. And I will reprice myself at the beginning of the new year. I want to throw it out there before the end of the year. Hopefully someone can get a nice Christmas present. If this is still hard, I'm also open to doing 2 payments, so $75, that's fine. From your side, you must be willing to look into your own feelings and needs. Yeah. So if you're looking to just fix the horse, this is not what I do. You got to look at yourself. 90% of the times, horse behavior is coming from people. And I'm not saying it's all your fault or anything like that. It could be the horse's past experience, but we really do have to, and I still do all the time, yeah, look into our own behavior, our own feelings, our own needs, and how that's affecting the horse. You must be open to implementing the changes that are not always in the traditional way. So you've already seen this kind of work. Yeah, it's not just a set of activities that you do, yeah, or exercises. So hopefully you get an open mind to that kind of work. And you must be able to get videos taken of you with your horse. It doesn't have to be very flash. If someone can, if it's riding, you might want to have someone else taking a video of you, or if it's from the ground, whatever the issue you're experiencing is. You will want to take it, get a tripod, whatever works for you, and have at least once a week with your horse. Now, once a week is not much. I'm talking about 20 minutes. Ideally, you'll have every day or at least 3 days a week. But once a week, you can still do something. And I know some of us are really busy with other things, but we still really, really want to do that. So if you got 20 minutes a week with your horse, you can still do something. Yeah, so that will be the minimum. I just gotta add that first session that we do will be a free one, and it will just be a 20 minutes assessment call, just to see who you are and what you're looking for, and to make sure that I'm the right person to help you with that. So that's a free call. So if you would like to book that free call and see if that suits you, just get in touch with me. You can, you will get that through your email, so you can email me back. And yeah, just let me know. I hope you found that helpful. And hopefully you will take that out into the paddock and practice that a little bit. Thank you so much.